We have tactical teams inside one of those buildings clearing from room to room to room. Uncertain if they made contact with the shooters at this point, trying to figure out if there's any hostages. A lot of times in these situations, as you well know, Leslie Phil, these hostages, not so much hostages, when they hear these shootings, just the victims inside or the people inside will shelter in place. They'll hide, they'll lock doors. So they're going to go room to room, building to building, searching to see who's in there, trying to figure out who are suspects, who are victims, who are just workers there, trying to decipher what's going on. That's the tricky part. It's a very, you can see these buildings are very, very large, so several tactical teams are probably inside, clearing the building, as they would call it, one by one. That's a situation right here. Containment set up very, very quickly. It's hard to say that SUV could have got out of here in time. It's very possible. It's uncertain right now. We're getting lots of different reports from different people about what had happened here, but that is the situation. They've got good containment. It appears to be more of a tactical searching right now than an active shooter, but again, that is not confirmed either. That's what's happening right now. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. We're live from Air 7, JT Alba. I'll throw it back to you guys.
Okay, JT, thank you. In just a moment, we're going to bring in Rob, but real quickly, we wanted to give you some information from the FBI. They acknowledge they're responding to the reported shooting incident in San Bernardino with resources to assist our partners. This is a statement from them. They are not going to provide any further information right now. San Bernardino law enforcement officials have the lead on this incident, and we are going to get further information from them as they can. According to the ATF, local Riverside field officers responded to this as well. You had mentioned that already, but that is coming in from the FBI and the ATF, that they are both involved in this as well.
So we have a huge law enforcement response, including local and federal officials. This is huge right now. Let's go to Rob McMillan. He's got a live interview. Rob.
No, they're in kind of an isolated little area because of the payroll, so they're kind of off away from everybody else.
Can you tell me once again about what you know about what happened in there today?
From what I understand, there was 3 shooters that went in. He said he didn't hear or see any of them, but from the reports that I've been getting is that there were 3 shooters in there. Supposedly they've taken off and left in some type of a SUV. Supposedly they found a package that they believe that might be a bomb, so that they're investigating that right now. I heard that there were multiple wounded and multiple fatalities.
And what is he telling you about what's happening up there right now? He's sheltered in place, correct?
Oh no, they've now extracted him out of the building and they're getting ready to transport them off-site to some other place. The police are.
Was there an event here today? Do you know any information about that?
He said there was just normal work. It was just normal going on.
Has he heard about any possibly angry employees, anything like that?
No, he hasn't heard anything like that.
Did he describe whether he heard any shots or whether he saw any of the suspects?
No, he did not see anything.
What was the text message you received?
That the alarms had gone off and that they had received word that there was active shooters on site and that the police were there and they were trying to get a handle on it.
And what did you do right away?
I just happened to be over in the area, so I just kind of swung by in case he needed a lift or something, or if I needed to go to a hospital.
Do you know how many people might he be with right now?
He said there was a large group. The group he works with, there's only 3, but he said there was somewhere around 20 or so that he's been corralled up with right now.
As a father, what's going right now?
Now I'm at ease. I know he's safe. He's outside and with the police. The police got him under control. So, I'm relieved at that point right now.
You're making us all see.
They've got a good handle on it. I mean, it's not good seeing all the ambulances coming in and going out. You see a bunch of them leave, and then, right now, here's 2 more pulling back up to come back in. So, not a good situation.
What's your name again?
Paul LaCroix.
Spell your last name.
LACROIX.
What did he share?
Again, one of the family members here, one of the relieved family members that we've spoken with here, learning via text message from his son who works at the facility that he is okay. He's one of many people that are now going to be bussed out of this location shortly, but as you've seen before, there are still several family members that have not heard from their loved ones, and that must be extremely devastating to go through, knowing that there are many injuries and there are fatalities. Back to you.
All right, Rob. Thank you very much for that, getting more for us from the ground, from relatives and spouses of people who are inside the building. Law enforcement authorities still trying to clear that building, those few buildings that they have there on scene of hundreds of people. We have seen dozens come out with their hands up, and they were searched by authorities. And so this began in the 11 a.m. hour, and what we do know is that 3 shooters went to this facility and somehow opened fire and shot several people, multiple people. We have multiple victims. We have 12 confirmed fatalities at this point from a source there at the scene, and a number of ambulances carrying shooting victims to trauma centers, to medical facilities in the nearby area to get treatment. And we are looking at a live picture there on the scene of a group of people right there.
Well, and one of the things that it appears is happening is that as people have been cleared, they're being allowed to call and reach out to loved ones and let them know that they're safe. And you could hear it in Paul's voice that you just heard from Rob. He was troubled, of course, by what happened, but felt a little better, maybe even relieved that he knew his child was safe. JT Alpa is in Air 7 HD and has been on this. JT, again, this began shortly before noon, and it is far from over with these suspects at large. We don't know where they are. There are some reports they have left the building, but they very possibly could still be there. What do you have for us?
Yeah, Roger, Philip and Leslie, we're looking at this group here right now, and again, a lot of uncertainty, a fog of war, if you will. We've been watching this group of people here very near the command post. Very emotional scene. We're seeing a lot of people hugging and talking, and the fire department going through and talking to each one of them individually, making sure everyone's okay, both physically and psychologically, trying to get information. But they are going to keep them in that same area, as we mentioned before, get them debriefed to figure out exactly what is going on or who's in there, who saw what, to try to figure it out. All the intelligence they can get from any of these people now at the scene is invaluable at this particular point. But everybody on their cell phone, as you mentioned, Philip, just lots of hugging, lots of emotions that they got out of this. That relatively okay, if you will. They're all standing here. We haven't seen any, we're looking up and down Waterman Drive here. We haven't seen any additional victims come out or any ambulances coming or going right now, which is a good sign. We're hearing the tactical teams are continuing to clear the locations inside. We're being very, very careful not to show that. They keep reiterating not to do that, which we're not going to do, obviously. What's really concerning here right now is at least the reports of 3 shooters would indicate that this is a coordinated attack, unlike some of the other types of mass casualty shootings that we've seen in the past throughout this country, usually lone shooters. This appears to be at least 2 to 3, which is extremely concerning. Again, FBI on scene right now trying to piece this all together and see exactly what this is. But right now, it does not look good as far as 3 suspects going through this building. Right now, it is a wait-and-see game as tactical teams, again, within these buildings, which we're not going to show you right now. We've seen numerous tactical vehicles going in and outside this compound onto the parking lot. Tactical teams that are loading up into the back of these Bearcat, these armored vehicles, which are so important in situations like this. Again, a very active command post situation here right now. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's being assisted by Ontario PD with air support and downlink operations. So they are seeing everything that you're seeing from the air on downlink down to this command post and making tactical decisions based on that downlink. But right now, Waterman Drive obviously remains closed. A very large containment or perimeter around this facility here as tactical teams continue to search. We're seeing some vehicles driving around in there, looking out the window right now. I haven't seen a lot of tactical teams outside, so that would indicate that they're all inside. A couple armored vehicles very close to the building right now. But the search continues and trying to figure out exactly what they're dealing with, how many shooters, how many people are down. All of that coming out very, very slowly right now as they continue this exhaustive search. We're putting live from JT. I'll throw it back to you guys.
Well, JT, one of the things that you bring up about the exhaustive search here, and one of the difficulties they will face, is there have been reports is unconfirmed reports of some sort of device being left behind. But if you imagine what authorities are having to do as people got out of that building as quickly as possible, you can imagine leaving behind backpacks, leaving behind purses, leaving behind items that are personal and not at risk, but there is no way to know. So this will be an exhaustive search trying to straighten this out. Again, police are searching for 1, possibly 3 gunmen at a shooting at a social services facility in Southern California. And just to explain to you a little bit about what this is helping people with developmental disabilities. If you have worked with people who have chosen this as a profession, the people they are helping are like family members. We do not know if the people killed in this or injured in this were simply staff or if they were people there getting advice and counseling, but even if they are unrelated, this is a very tight-knit group of people who have chosen to do this type of work. This is going to be an emotional toll, as if these 12 people were in their family. It is a very tight, close-knit group, and this is far from over as we try to figure out what exactly happened there shortly before noon.
Yes, and as we see, just an amazing coordinated effort with local law enforcement, federal law enforcement, and they are going through the building. We do see a little less visible activity from the outside there, and we don't know if it is in fact that the suspects have left the scene as has been reported. We do not have complete confirmation on that, but things have calmed down just a bit. No more ambulances leaving the scene. It would appear that all the people who are injured have been taken to area hospitals in that area. We know that Loma Linda Regional Medical Center is in disaster mode. We know that at least 20 ambulances left the scene with lights and sirens, and 12 confirmed fatalities in this deadly mass shooting that occurred just about 2 hours ago. That's when we first got word of what was going on there at the Inland Regional Center, serving the needs of...
Please subscribe to the channel and like this video and share. Please subscribe to the channel and like this video and share.
We see a Bearcat on the right side of the screen. We see a couple of those vehicles, tactical vehicles, as SWAT officers are inside of the building going room to room trying to clear that facility. We're going to go to JT Alpa and Air 7 HD. What do you have from your vantage?
Or panicking. We have noticed that there are some officers that are fanning out to the west of this location. There's a very large golf course on the west side of Waterman Drive. Let me get off this building here. West side of Water Drive. We do have officers clearing that area. That's probably having to do with the reports that the suspects may have departed that area. So there's a very large wash just north of the 10th freeway between this golf course right now. They're moving into those tree lines, into that wash, into that riverbed, just to make sure that there's no one outstanding over there. Maybe even victims that ran away from the location or suspects. They're just clearing that entire area right now. But right now we're seeing, again, a lot of activity in the area, but not a lot of frantic activity. It seems very controlled, very organized. You can see this is a tactical, what they call a Batcat. This is a tactical trailer. It's not deployed yet, but it can get into very tight areas in between buildings, and that they can actually pull that up to a window and have a very large bulletproof covering there and search and get into areas. There's actually a door on the